Hi guys, it's Ben from 2X Space Station. How's everybody doing? And this is Solar Striker on the Game Boy. Still liking to show off some of the shmups that I've collected. And this is probably one of my favourite shmups on the system. I really enjoyed this one ever since I first played it. And this is one of the ones that I actually played through over and over again until I finally beat it. If you guys have played this, then you'll know it's pretty challenging. Certainly in the later stages, things start to get very, very difficult and slightly frustrating, but I think that this is one of the games that's really well balanced, actually. I kind of enjoyed the challenge and found that I kept playing it over and over again. And yeah, I eventually managed to beat it, but it was no easy thing. One of the things that I like about the Game Boy shooters, though, is the fact that even if they're difficult, they're also kind of small. Because obviously the cartridge had a limited memory. And so the fact that they're kind of short and small means that they're actually quite achievable even if they're difficult, because, you know, it's not like you're having to practice this point that's really far into the game. Each run of the game, once you're actually reasonably good at it, takes about half an hour, 35 minutes, something like that to complete it. So I actually really enjoyed it and didn't mind playing it over and over again until I finally got there. One of the interesting things about the Super Game Boy is that some of the games load a default colour palette, and the one for Solar Striker is actually a really vibrant blue colour. As I said last time, I actually prefer to play these games looking vaguely green and grey, kind of how they would have looked on an actual Game Boy. But if you're playing through a game over and over again and you're dying loads and, you know, it's getting a bit repetitive, it's actually quite nice to mix things up and play a couple of runs with different colour palettes, and you'll find ones that match each game better. And I think that the blue one looks really good on this, actually. I also played with some kind of pastel purpley ones that look really good. That's actually a way of mixing things up a bit and stopping it from getting stale, keeping it fresh. Now, yeah, this game I really, really like. At the end of each of the stages, you've got a boss, and actually, for the most part, the bosses are pretty predictable and quite easy to beat. They don't throw anything too crazy at you. And then you get to this one boss, I think it's at the end of stage 3 or 4, where it's literally, suddenly, completely unavoidable. And I played the game over and over again and never actually managed to figure out how to beat that boss without taking a hit. As you can see, most of them go down quite easily. But basically the only way I managed to beat the game was by doing really well in the earlier stages and getting extra lives, so that I could afford to take a load of hits, because if you've played it, you'll know the one I'm talking about. There's one boss that just seems to fill the screen with a load of crazy stuff, and it's just like, I cannot beat this. Really annoying, actually. I tried to watch some videos and things to get a bit of help, but no, didn't help at all. The other thing to point out is, of course, that the Super Game Boy 2... I think it's Super Game Boy 2, is the actually only one that plays the games in real time, as in how they would have been with the right clock speed on a Game Boy. If you're playing on the original Super Game Boy, the games are actually slightly faster. So, you know, I don't think you can really use that as much of an excuse, but it is a valid point to say that the games are probably slightly more difficult, given the fact that things are moving more quickly on the screen than they were originally intended to do. As you can see, the kind of main difficulty in this game is that things move very quickly towards you, and they don't actually shoot very quickly, most of them. But if you don't clear them, they will drop off a bullet. But it's mostly that the enemies actually collide with you and fill the screen and fly at you. And in the later stages, the game really monopolizes on that, and you get to some points where there are enemies that rush down the screen incredibly quickly. You've got to really have your wits about you. Once you fully power up the your gun, it's actually incredibly powerful. But I think there are 3 or 4 different upgrades that you can do. Oh, God. Got a bit of slowdown there, actually, which went in my favour. And I just got the full power up there before dying. So, yeah, when you die, you go down a power level, which makes things a little bit difficult. This guy isn't too bad either, because you can actually shoot his projectiles. So, usually this guy goes down pretty easily. Like with every boss, it's about learning where you can and can't stand on the screen. But he's not too bad, that guy, at all. One thing I should mention, and you guys can probably appreciate, is that the music on this game is really, really good. I love the music on it. The songs kind of stick in your head. Oh yeah, this one, again, lots of things all along the ground running towards you. The actual environments themselves, as you can see, they're kind of basic, they're functional. They do the trick, but you know, they're not going to win any awards, I guess. But the thing with this one is just the fact that it's really responsive, it's slick, and the challenge, the difficulty curve, if you ask me, it's just perfect on this one. I really did love playing this a lot when I first got it. I got kind of addicted to it. You know, sometimes there are games where the difficulty curve is such that you just feel like you're never going to get there. Whereas with this one, I kind of feel like the difficulty curve is just in the right place. Oh god, I literally never managed to last more than a second with that power-up because I'm talking. The difficulty curve is just in the right place, I think. You do feel as though if you just played it 1 or 2 more times, you might get there. I think that's very carefully balanced, actually. Right, I would like to get the power-up and show you guys that, because it makes things quite a bit easier. Here it is. Oh no, I didn't get it for some reason. You do also get extra lives if you get a certain number of points, so hopefully I will be able to get myself an extra life, because otherwise I'm going to be dying quite soon. These things shoot quite infrequently, but they take a lot of bullets to take down. They're like gun turrets or something. The levels themselves, they're not very long though, so you can kind of get through. Oh no, I'm going to have to sacrifice that power-up. That's a shame, because you need that. The bosses and things are a lot easier if you can actually get full of power-ups. I'm really going to need an extra life, because things are getting kind of difficult here. And I want to show you off as much of the game as I can. Yeah, so the trucks fire a kind of wide sort of laser shot, but it's slow firing. So you see, most of the things in the game are slow firing but fast moving. It's interesting. The main threat is kamikaze enemies that are going to bash into you. And I think we're up to the boss. You can always tell by that change in music. Oh yeah, this guy. Again, he's not too bad. He says, dying. He's not too bad. But I've fluffed it up. Anyway, this is Solar Striker. It's a really good game. Believe it or not, I have beat this one, but I played kind of sucky today. I'm pretty sure you can find this one for quite cheap. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.